Hey guys, what's going on? C-Impulse here, coming at you guys with a WWE 2K15 Q&A video. I told you guys that I would be doing it, and well, here I am. So anyways, before I start this, I wanted to tell you guys, if you're wondering where something went, why something's not in the game, why something is missing, believe me, I probably asked them when I went to 2K why this isn't in there, or why this was changed, or why something's gone, and this is what I was told every single time. This game is a foundation for the future, and that's what they told me every single time. So just to let you guys know, that's what they told me, and that's what I'm going to tell you, is what they told me. It is a foundation for the future, and you can take that how you may, but that's what they told me. So anyways, let's get into the questions, and I'll tell you guys what I got some answers for you. Does the Shield have their updated attire and music? No, they don't. Now, I thought that maybe they could get the music in there, and that's something that I asked about when I went to the 2K studios, and they just told me straight up that they didn't have the time to even put the music in the game. You can, however, make their updated attire with the new logo creator and stuff on Community Creations, and honestly, I would I would expect the updated Shield guys on day one on Community Creations, so it's not that big of a hassle. Music, yeah, it is, you know, a big deal, but when it comes down to attires, you can just download them. I'm sure someone will make them almost immediately on Community Creations. Next question is, did they remove the breaking point submission? Yes and no. It's not breaking point anymore, but it's honestly, like, if I'm being straight up with you, it's the same thing. It's just visually different, but I haven't really noticed any differences between the new submission and breaking point. You still smash the A button repeatedly to try and get out of the hold, so it's really, you're kind of looking at the same thing here. It's not much different than breaking point. When I heard breaking point wasn't in the game, I was kind of interested to see if they would go with the UFC game style of breaking point, or, you know, of submissions, and they just, it's pretty much breaking point, to be bluntly honest with you. It's pretty much breaking point. Next question is, will there be more than 6 wrestlers in the ring? No. You can play 6-man online matches and 6-man offline matches, but to my knowledge, what I know, the maximum number is 6 wrestlers in the ring at one time. Next question is, who does the methodical pace benefit? I don't know. Does story designer create a championship, create an arena, or create a diva on next gen? No, and I'm actually kind of super bummed about that. I personally, I don't know how much I agree with, you know, when you say you're innovating, and along the way of innovating something, you're removing pretty much everything else. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's the route they took here, and what they told me was you can expect this stuff back, and this game is a foundation, and you can expect this stuff back in, you know, the next games or whatever. So anyways, the next thing is, how was my career mode? Was it dramatic or was it dull? Now, I only got to play through NXT due to time constraints, so I didn't get to play too far into it. I will say that, you know, going through the Performance Center in NXT, to me, it was kind of dull, to be completely honest. I found myself dragging through it, and that might have been because it was the end of the day, and we've been playing it for a super long time, but I did find myself just kind of dragging through it. And this could also come down to, we didn't get to really customize our guy, you know, too much. We didn't get to use like the face scan or anything, so I wasn't, you know, my superstar's name was Superstar, and it could be because I didn't get myself like hooked on it, but I just found myself dragging kind of through it. You start in the Performance Center where you get told, you know, that they'll only be signing one of you guys and to try your best and all that, but they pretty much sign everybody there. Like, you play those same guys that you're there with in the Performance Center pretty much through the Performance Center, and even into NXT, you're facing the same guys. Like, if I had to face the generic mass luchador one more time, I was about to flip the desk. But as far as Performance Center and NXT go, me, Tony, and Tubby had the exact same experience down to the guys we were facing. So, of course, we didn't get to the point where you had many branching options. We didn't get to Raw or anything yet. But I'd say you get through the Performance Center NXT in about an hour or so, but yeah, it wasn't like dramatic or anything. It was just kind of, you face luchadors and you have Bill DeMott yell at you even though you're doing like ridiculous moves that they're just like out of this world, like very polished moves, and you still have Bill DeMott yelling at you like you're doing something wrong, which is like, it was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing at Bill DeMott like yelling at me while I'm doing these super polished moves and like really going through the works here. He's just yelling at me like I'm some jabroni, like, calm down, I'm doing a good job, you know, I'm trying to get my stuff in right here. But I'm sure the mode gets more exciting once you're out of NXT, so take what I say with a grain of salt, since I barely even got to play around with the mode. Like, those are just my initial reactions to the whole thing. Like, I'm sure, like, once you get to Raw and once you actually get to do stuff and you get, you know, into your branching options, it gets a lot more interesting. But the first hour or so, I found it to be pretty uninteresting. Next question is, can you turn off the grapple minigame? Yeah, you can, but I personally don't think you'll want to. I find the grapple minigame a big part of the game, but yeah, I don't think you'll want to. I guess you could turn it off if you're trying to achieve, and that's something I tried to do also while I was there. I tried to achieve a more arcade-esque kind of game where I was turning the stamina all the way up to where the stamina really wouldn't affect me, and I was, turn off the grapple minigame. Which, if you're wondering how you turn off the grapple minigame, you have to go into the settings and turn the game balancing and turn the bar all the way down. There's no like option that says like chain grappling off. You have to go in and just turn the bar all the way down. So, but yeah, I tried to do that where I was like turning that off and like turning the stamina off and stuff like that to see if you can do it. But it's still like, you know, really slow simulation based. Like you can do those things and it does make it a little more fun, I think. You know, without the whole stamina thing. You know, if you're trying to get that, but. You know, I personally wouldn't turn the grapple minigame off. I would keep that on. I think that's an okay addition to the game, to be honest with you. It's only like a couple seconds. You don't really do it too much. Sometimes you might get 2 or 3 grapple minigames. Sometimes you don't get any, depending on who you're using. So it's really not that bad of a, you know, addition to the game, if anything. How good is the AI? Did you win every match? At first, no. I lost a bit even on normal. I lost. And a bit is kind of being generous. I lost a good amount. Just because I couldn't get the reversal times down, and I couldn't, like, I just wasn't getting it. Like, I'm still trying to play, like I'm playing 2K14 or 2K15 on last gen, and I'm, you know, trying to do these ridiculous things, and it's just like, it's really slowed down simulation. Now I can play on Legend very easily. I usually win most of my matches. Stamina does play a big part in it, and if you're kind of like blowing through the moves, you know, like you're doing a lot of moves in succession, the opponent will come back, and especially people like John Cena, he'll come back on you and he'll beat you up. The triple threat AI though was what was like kind of really stood out to me. It felt like very much improved compared to everything else. If anything, I felt like triple threat matches were like the most fun matches out of anything that we played. The AI do have moments though where they'll just like stand there in singles matches mostly, and not do anything until you hit him. I think I did a match against Roman Reigns and he literally just stood there, and then I was just like, I cannot put that in a video, you know, like I had to redo it. And I think there's even times in some of the videos I'll put up where it gets down to the point where he's just sitting there and he's not doing anything. I've had it happen like a handful of times, honestly, and it's pretty frustrating when you're trying to have a good match. But yeah, it does happen where they just stand there. It's really weird. Do you end up crawling for a desperation pin every match? No, you don't do it all the time. It really depends on your stamina bar and honestly how far down that your stamina bar is. Like if you do a move and you're going for the pin, your stamina bar is all the way down, you know, you'll go for, you know, that desperation pin, or you'll crawl over to him or something like that. No, you don't go for it every single time. If you have a little bit of stamina, you'll do something called power pin, which, you know, doesn't look like a desperation pin at all. He kind of just goes straight into a pin after he does the move. It's a pretty cool little chain there that you you're able to do. Do the belts float off the body? They float off the shoulder, and they're very high up on the waist. That's something that I noticed. They still float off the shoulder, which was, you know, kind of sad, to be honest. And they are very high up on the waist on some people. Like, I had a great time laughing at how high up the belt was on Cena's waist in 2K Showcase during the Punk and Cena Money in the Bank match. I thought that was hilarious, how high it was up on his chest. Like, there's no way that was at his waistline. Like, that was just, it was like, it had to be like above his belly button. It was funny. Most fun person to play as so far? I think it's Seth Rollins. His model is incredible. Probably one of the best, if not the best model in the game is Seth Rollins, in my opinion. And his moveset's fun. And he's the Rollinator, of course, so I'll love him and I'll use him anyways. So, you know, before you even ask that question, who I was going to say, don't play me. What do you dislike most about the game? That was a good question, honestly. While I think, like, they accomplished the simulation-style gameplay they were aiming for, it's also something that I'm not a huge fan of. It feels like the game dictates the match more than you do, if that makes sense. I'm more of a fan of fast-paced arcade-style stuff, like Here Comes the Pain, or even WWE 2K14, or even 2K15 on last gen. More freedom, less restrictions, stuff like that. And even adding more arcade stuff. That's something that I talked about at the 2K14 playtest was, you know, give us some more fun stuff. Give us some silly stuff, like bring back running on a treadmill to get your finisher, or riding a motorcycle around, or just going backstage, or anything, you know. Give us something like that. That's what I enjoy. That's what I play the WWE games for. I want to do ridiculous stuff, you know. And that's something that I really, while I think they hit the simulation style gameplay on the head, if I was, you know, dictating the series, I don't know if I would have taken it down this path where it's a super serious simulation style, you know, kind of game. I would have taken it down a different path, but that's for a whole nother video and a whole nother everything. But the simulation style isn't bad, you know. Like I said, they accomplished what they were going for, and while it's fun, I'm a more fan of the arcade style, and I've told them that 100 times over. I think every time they ask me, I was like, yeah, you know, it's fun, but arcade style is definitely what I'm all about, you know. And then my last question here to round this up, I thought this was another good question. Is the game good enough to actually keep you playing throughout the year? Okay, so for me, yeah, I'll be playing this throughout the year because it's what my whole channel revolves around. Like, I'm going to be playing this regardless. For hardcore, play nothing else but wrestling games, or, you know, something like that fans, sure. I mean, they're going to play whatever, you know, comes out regardless. For fans of video games and wrestling, like if you're a guy who buys like Far Cry, Dragon Age, Smash, and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And you also just happen to play wrestling games, I'll be straight up, I really doubt you'll be playing this all year. While this game is good, it's not good enough to play it all year round. And that's something I think they've been struggling to figure out, is how to keep these players around all year. And I just don't think this game is something that's going to keep you around. It'll probably keep you around for, and I'm not saying you're going to be playing this game every month, but you'll still pop it in within the next 3 months. But I just don't. I'll be completely honest with you. I just don't think you'll be playing it for more than 3 months. I don't expect you to. Like I said, if you're a fan of video games and stuff, like, there's just a lot of other stuff that probably gives you a more fulfilling interaction with it than this game will. Good game, but just not one that you'll be playing throughout the year, to be completely honest with you. So, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. That's my Q&A for 2K15, and that's it for me. So, if you did enjoy it, remember to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you guys are not subscribed already for more of that WWE goodness. And I'll talk to you guys next time. I'm out of here.
Impulse is the best. Yes, he is. Click the subscribe button. Yes, you know you want to. Yes, you do. Click it today.